let me go and turn to the business of today, and let's get serious. I can tell you when I have my good friend Jerry Conley as upset as he is today, I take notice. We talked about this yesterday. We've talked about it multiple times. But what we have here is a systemic failure to address real problems that actually not only affect ridership and the financial stability, but the safety aspect of our inaction is causing great peril, loss of life, and quite frankly, it can't be tolerated anymore. This is our fourth hearing. I'm tired of hearings. I'm tired of excuses. I'm tired of us going back and forth to look at these issues and say, well, if you just give us a little bit more time, we'll get it fixed. WMATA is not a fine wine. It does not improve with time. What we must do is we must act today. The gentlewoman from Virginia, Ms. Comstock, she has called me a number of times saying that we have got to address this particular issue over and over and over again. And yet, here we are with Safe Track and learning that indeed as we start to embark on it, and Mr. Wiedefield, I want to say thank you. You're making tough choices. You know, I can tell you it is not good for your career. Because every time that you make a tough choice, you have a critic that is out there that is wanting to suggest that you shouldn't be making that choice. But quite frankly, we needed your kind of leadership years ago. This is a systemic problem that has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed now. Now, it will require difficult decisions, and as my good friend Mr. Conley just pointed out, some of the decisions that are being contemplated by the board, Mr. Evans, are troubling. You and I know that we've had some personal meetings, and I'm willing to invest the political capital in a way that does not play well back in North Carolina. But I'm willing to do that to fix this system once and for all. But what I'm not willing to do is to ignore what has become a reoccurring theme. Every time we get a new report, every time that we start to see something, we start to find out things that we should have known months and years ago. You know, to hear the report of falsified records is just mind-blowing. It's just, you know, when you know that we're going to have this kind of detail to look at it, it's mind-blowing. And the death and injury of individuals fall at the responsibility of some of those very people who look the other way when we have issues that we have to address. And so we're going to fix this. We're going to fix this right away. And what we're going to make sure of as we look at the track record is that we make hard decisions. And so, Mr. Jackson, I'm looking forward to hearing from you today. What are the hard decisions that you're willing to make as well? Because what we have here is we've got everybody pointing fingers at everybody else. They're saying, well, it was not my job. Well, it's not my responsibility. Or if we just had a little bit more money, we could fix it. Let me just tell you, we do have a money problem, but this is not, the genesis of this problem is not money. The genesis of this problem is a culture that we have allowed to pervade and exist for a long time. WMATA has become the butt of jokes, but let me tell you, it's not a joking matter. When you have people stuck on a track and they can't get a hold of an operator for 30 minutes and then you start to unload them onto and get off on a track where you have an active possibility for electrocution, I mean, that's a real problem. And Mr. Wiedefield, you and I have talked on a couple of occasions, and some of the other safety concerns that are out there, we need a little bit more transparency so I don't get surprised by reading about something in the Washington Post. Now, and by doing that, I understand that you're trying to evaluate. But the other part of that is from an oversight standpoint, if we're going to make investments for federal dollars, we have got to make sure that there is a good plan in place to address these. And so today I'm looking forward to hearing from each one of you on how we can address that. Chairman Hart, you're here back to hopefully give us some marching orders, but it's not good enough if it's in a report and it doesn't get acted upon. It's not good enough that we fail to go and do what is necessary to do this. So as we start to look at this, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate your leadership on this area. What you are going to find are two bulldogs in a bipartisan way with Mr. Conley and I. We're not going to let this go. And it's not because I write it. It's just the safety and health and welfare of the people of this greater Washington, D.C. metro area that is at stake. We've got to fix it. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back.